All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're decoding a text that's honestly as dangerous as it is absolutely fascinating. We're cracking open a playbook that is literally operating in the background of our lives 24/7. It's the silent force dictating who rises, who falls, and who gets completely left behind. Now, I want you to think about something for a second. Why do some people just seem to, win every single room they walk into? We all know the exact type of person I'm talking about, right? They effortlessly snag that fast track promotion, they command instant respect, and they just sort of control the dynamic of the room without even breaking a sweat. People just flock to them and listen to them, usually without even knowing why. Well, here's the secret. It's not luck. And it's definitely not some magical, innate charisma you just have to be born with. No way. This invisible game of power relies entirely on calculated strategy. It's a precise system of behaviors and tactics that can absolutely be learned, observed, and, as we're going to see, weaponized. And that strategy is broken down into exactly 48 laws. Back in 1998, Robert Greene dropped a bombshell of a book called The 48 Laws of Power. And guys, the insights in this book are so amazingly potent, so unfiltered, that they're actually banned in a lot of prisons. But get this. At the exact same time, you'll find this very same book sitting proudly on the desks of top-tier CEOs all over the globe. You'll even hear it name-dropped constantly in rap lyrics. It's everywhere. Section 1. The Invisible Game. 6 Dangerous Laws. So out of Greene's 48 laws, we're going to spotlight 6 of the most dangerous ones. And I mean the ones actively being used against you in the real world, like right now. But let's be super clear here. Understanding these laws isn't about you being malicious. It's entirely about surviving. Because let's face it, you can't defend yourself against a strategy that you don't even understand. Section 2. Navigating the hierarchy. Dealing with your boss. Let's ground Greene's dramatic historical terms in our modern reality. Dealing with the corporate food chain brings us straight to Law 1, never outshine the master. Look, if you make the people above you feel insecure or threatened in any way, they will inevitably turn on you. The smartest move isn't to prove you're the smartest person in the room. Actually, scratch that, it's the opposite. The smartest move is to make the people in power feel more powerful just because you're around. Just think about it. We've all seen the brilliant employee who gets fired, right? While the totally, completely average employee gets promoted. Why does that happen? Because the brilliant employee accidentally made their boss feel small, while the average one made their boss feel secure. It's a harsh irony for sure, but power isn't about being objectively right. It's about making the right people feel secure around you. Now let's look at Law 6. Get others to do the work, but take the credit. Okay, I know. Just saying that out loud, it sounds incredibly cynical. It feels super unfair, but remember, Greene's book isn't about fairness, it's about reality. And we have to validate this dynamic because, let's be honest, it's absolutely everywhere in the corporate world. Truly powerful people rarely do the hardest labor themselves. Here's exactly how this plays out, step by step. Step 1, others do the heavy lifting in the background. Step 2, the person in power positions themselves right smack in the center of the final result. And step 3, they take the credit. Boom! It is a harsh reality of how powerful people dodge the physical and mental grunt work, but continually harvest the rewards. Section 3. Controlling the narrative. Your calculated public image. So beyond just managing your boss, keeping your power relies heavily on how you communicate. Which brings us to Law 2, conceal your intentions. Basically, you should never, ever let people know exactly what you're planning. The logic here is simple, but it is devastating. The very second someone understands your full strategy, you've handed them the power to block it, or worse, use it against you. Just remember this golden rule. Mystery creates power. Predictability creates vulnerability. This is exactly why highly skilled negotiators never reveal the real target first. It's why truly powerful people stay, well, delightfully vague about their next moves. If you are entirely predictable, you are entirely vulnerable. Next up on the docket is Law 3, court attention at all costs. Look, we live in a crazy, noisy, fast-paced world, and Greene argues a very tough truth here. The person who isn't noticed simply doesn't exist. Period. In this game, it's actually better to be talked about negatively than not to be talked about at all. Attention is currency. Silence is invisibility.
This perfectly explains our modern media and business landscape, doesn't it? It's exactly why highly controversial figures often rocket to the top way faster than quiet, highly talented ones. They simply refuse to be ignored. They force the world to pay them in the currency of attention.
Section 4. The art of manipulation. Ruthless tactics.
All right, we're now stepping into the most psychological and, frankly, ruthless laws in Greene's entire playbook. Let's start with Law 4, selective honesty. Specifically using selective honesty to disarm your victim. This is a classic tactic heavily utilized by salespeople, con artists, and, yep, even toxic partners, to get you to completely drop your defenses.
Think of it like this. One small, honest confession can hide 100 hidden lies. When someone seems brutally honest about some minor, insignificant flaw, it short-circuits your brain. You start thinking, wow, they're so transparent, I can totally trust them. And bam, that one tiny confession blinds you to the massive manipulation happening right beneath the surface. And then we reach Law 5, crush your enemy totally. This one is widely considered Greene's absolute most ruthless concept. And hey, remember, we aren't talking about literal battlefield enemies here. Translate enemy into your day-to-day life. Everyday rivals in business, intense corporate negotiations, or even just major arguments. The logic behind this ruthless law is simple but brutal. If you defeat someone but leave them with enough resources to recover, they don't just magically go away. They come back stronger, and they come back angrier, looking specifically for revenge. An unfinished conflict never disappears. It just resurfaces later, and usually at the exact moment you're most vulnerable. Section 5. Stop being a pawn. Defend yourself. So, we've looked at the dark side of these tactics today, but I want to be clear. This knowledge should be a shield, not a sword. Studying these deeply uncomfortable truths about human nature isn't about you turning into some corporate villain. It's about recognizing these exact manipulative tactics the very second they're being used on you, way before it's too late. If you take away just one thing from this explainer, make it this. Understand the game and stop being a pawn. By simply seeing the invisible rules, you strip them of their power over you. Oh, and remember to subscribe to MindCrypt so we can keep empowering you with this kind of hidden knowledge, turning the invisible visible. And as we wrap up here, I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought to chew on. Looking back at everything we've just uncovered, who is playing the invisible game on you today? Seriously, take a second to reevaluate every single interaction you had at the office today. You might be very, very surprised by what you suddenly see.